With its large upturned beak and the black and white feathers, the avocet is a bird that isn't difficult to spot. The animal can sometimes be found in the mudflats of Farlington Marshes in Portsmouth. Last winter, though, they appeared in higher numbers than usual.
They're normally in reasonable numbers, but this year they actually came onto the site and were roosting on the site in numbers, and we had over 70 on the site this year, and which is great. And we thought, the winter that's fantastic, and they disappeared right at the end of winter, and we thought, well, that's great. We had a great season. But then late spring they started to appear back, and we had about 6 on site, and that steadily grew to about 12, something like that. And we actually ended up having 4 nesting on site, which is a first for Farlington, and really, really good news for us. So it's nice to get a breeding bird back rather than lose breeding birds. In the other local nature reserves, there's large numbers of avocet nesting. There's also a high mortality rate in the nesting success and the net low nesting success. So perhaps some have just decided to jump ship to fancy this one a bit more. There's no real reason we can put a pinpoint as such. There has been slight changes in management over the years, and maybe some minuscule factor has decided that they've taken notice now. So the water levels have changed a lot over the years as well, so that may have been a contributing factor.
Once a common sight along UK shores, egg collecting and habitat loss made the number of avocets decline in the mid-19th century. After World War II, the bird made a comeback. According to the Wildlife Trust, however, more recently habitat loss has seen further declines, but Farlington Marshes may be a safe haven for the avocets and other species.
Farlington Marshes is hugely important in the local area. So Langston, the 3 harbours down here, Langston, Portsmouth and Chichester, have a huge number of the winter bird populace coming down from the north and overwintering here. Things like Brent geese and black-tailed godwits and dunlin, huge numbers in winter. In the summer, it's also really important for nesting habitat. So we have really rare birds like lapwing that are really doing really badly in the UK, and redshank nest in good numbers here, and it's probably some of the best in the area. And the reason it's so important is that at high tide, a lot of the birds don't have anywhere to go. So in the winter, when they're feeding on the mud flats, there's nowhere for them to then go once the tide comes in. And as there's more development in the area, and with climate change and rising sea levels, we're losing that. But Farlington is remaining the stronghold in the local area, because it's a safe place for birds to go, because people can't get to the central section of the marsh, and it's protected from predators as well, to an extent. We're hoping that the birds this year that bred here will come back. Also the young that were born here will come back. So hopefully we'll see a steady rise over the years of numbers, and we can help things move along as well. So we've got plans next year to try and protect the sites a bit more from predators, so things like foxes, buzzards as well. They took a toll this year, so we're hoping if we protect them, we can steadily increase the population, which is really important because these birds are suffering. Though they're steadily increasing in the UK, habitat is at a limited capacity, so you have to do everything you can on these sites to really give them the boost, because they're not producing anywhere else basically.
Nicole Ries, Bats TV.